Hi, Troy Morgan, President and CEO of PanTech Design. I'm inviting you into my home on a video so I can talk to you a little bit about Adapt Energy and how Adapt Energy works with a Sonnen battery, solar, and a full-blown home automation system. I truly believe that this home is one of the most advanced homes when it comes to energy in the world. And I want to be able to share that with you. So we're going to take some time and go through the solar, the battery, and Adapt Energy and how it all ties together. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the solar system that I have on the home. The system that we have put on was designed by a company called Good Faith Solar. They're out of Richardson, Texas. Great company. I'd highly recommend them. They came and spent a lot of time with me discussing size of solar and how big we need to go and where things are going to be placed, and they helped us with permitting and a lot of the things that need to occur when you put a solar system on the home. This system here is a 12.16 kW system. It generates probably about half of our needs during the summertime and twice as much as we need during the wintertime, really relative to our HVAC systems being in Texas. Now, there are a total of 38 solar panels, and each solar panel can generate upwards of 320 watts. They're LG 320 panels. There are 60 cells per panel, and one of the other things you'll notice about these panels is they're all black. They don't really have a grid in them, so they really use a whole lot, well, really all of the real estate they have on the panel to generate power. Something else you'll notice is you're not going to see any conduit or anything like that. And that's because this system has 19 microinverters. Now, a microinverter's job is simply to take the DC power and turn it into AC so that it can send it to the home and the home can distribute it. Now, this system with those 38 panels is broken up into 4 segments called arrays. Each one of these arrays can generate sort of its own power. Later on, we'll talk about how we control that. But we have a total of 12 panels on array number 1, 12 panels on array number 2, 7 panels on array number 3, and 7 panels on array number 4. And each one of the microinverters has 2 of the panels connected to it. So my system generally during the summertime is going to produce about 9,000 to 10,000 watts during sort of the peak of the day. And then as it starts cooling down, like right now it's in the 50s outside, it's going to be generating 11,000 plus. This is due to the efficiency of the panels. And when you have higher heat, you're going to have a little less efficiency. However, these panels are probably the most efficient panels that you can get on the market. So this is my Sonnen Lynx battery. I installed this battery in August of 2018, and at the time that I installed the battery, I didn't actually have solar or really any Adapt Energy stuff at that point, so no energy management, just the battery itself. And I used this battery for quite a long period of time just as a battery backup. Provides resiliency just in case there's a grid loss. Something else, though, that this battery does, and why I was happy to have it, is it has what I like to call the watchful eye on the grid. This is something that is really great for your equipment in the home and things like CPUs that really don't like to see brownouts and situations like that. What the Sonnen battery does is it pays close attention to the grid at all times. And if it ever sees the grid sort of go out of spec, where maybe the frequency shifts to where it's out of spec, or the voltage shifts to where it's out of spec, either too high or too low, it will automatically switch over to its own microgrid, basically battery power at that point. So it's kind of nice because all this expensive equipment that we put in people's homes and that I have in my home is now protected because of the watchful eye of the Sonnen battery. So I had it as a battery backup for about 6 months, something like that. And around end of January is when I added solar. And once I added solar, it changed the mode of operation of the battery, because the battery at that point is now being used for self-consumption, where I'm taking solar power and I'm storing it in the battery. And then I'm using the battery power later on at night when the sun is not available. When it goes down, I actually go to backup power or battery power to power the loads in the home. When I was using it just for battery backup, and actually even today as well, it can run the home for about 10 to 12 hours. Now, that doesn't mean it runs all the air conditioners and everything. It means that with Adapt Energy's help and managing loads in the home, I can run the essentials and some of the other things that I may want to have for comfort for a good 10 to 12 hours. And I can do that because this battery happens to be a 20,000 watt or 20 kilowatt hour battery. So has quite a lot of power to last that long. One of the other beautiful things about this battery is its battery chemistry. Sonnen chose lithium iron phosphate for the chemistry of their batteries, and that's important to me because, as you might notice, it's in my home. The fact that it's inside of my home means safety is a very, very important thing. So there are other battery manufacturers out there that make batteries that are using other chemistries. One I'll sort of pick on a little bit is nickel magnesium cobalt, or NMC. This battery chemistry is something that when they do puncture tests to sort of test how the battery chemistry is going to work in the event of a puncture or something goes wrong with the battery, it actually can burst into flames, it can burn underwater, and it generates somewhere between 700 and 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. It's quite scary, to be honest with you, when you start looking at battery chemistry that can do that. Burn underwater, that one really blew my mind. Now, the lithium iron phosphate batteries that Sonnen uses, during a puncture test, they'll generate around 200 degrees Fahrenheit and simply bubble. That's all they do. So I feel pretty good about putting a battery like this inside of my home. Something else that's great about the Sonnen battery is its warranty. They have the longest warranty on the market. It's a 15-year, 15,000 cycle warranty. When you start looking at cycles, this is the battery's ability to go from 0 to 100 and back down to 0. 15,000 of those, it's somewhere around 40 years of our lives, if it did it once a day. So their warranty being 15-year, 15,000 cycle is pretty amazing, and something that I think if you're going to spend this kind of money and have this type of resiliency and capability, the warranty is obviously nice to have as well. I'm going to go ahead and open the battery up and take a look inside, and we'll see a little bit more about what that looks like inside, and I'll talk about some of the components. So, simple key to open the battery. The battery has a base, and then it's got this top part. Now down here are actually 10 2 kilowatt hour batteries. So that's where we get our 20 kilowatt hours from. And each one of these guys, like I said, they're lithium iron phosphate. This gray box here is the inverter. This is what's going to take DC power from the solar, and actually, in my case, it's going to be AC power from solar and converts it to DC into the batteries, and then goes the other way as well, takes the DC power from the batteries and converts it to AC so that we can feed the home with power. So this battery right here, something that, in my opinion, everybody who has solar should have a battery like this. One of the other neat things about what Sonnen does is they allow you to start at a 12 kilowatt hour battery. So you don't have to go to a full 20 kilowatt hour like I do. You can start at 12, but they actually also have a battery coming very soon that's a 30 kilowatt hour battery, which is really, really exciting. So it's going to add an additional 10 kilowatt hours to the overall size and capacity of the battery. So we're really excited to have this. We have used it in real live situations where we've lost grid power, and this guy has taken care of the home, made sure the equipment in the home is protected, and I have no doubt this thing's going to last longer than I'll probably even live in this home. So excited about the Sonnen battery technology.